In 1921, the National Boxing Association was formed. Before that, we had Universal Champions, but we never really had a sanctioning body. The NBA, formed in 1921, became a sanctioning body that was able to oversee champions in respective divisions. They were what we call undisputed champions or universal champions at the time. As time progressed, the NBA became known as the WBA, which is the oldest boxing sanctioning body out there. The New York Boxing Association, State Boxing Association, that became the WBC. And the WBC was full-fledged and full known somewhere around the 1960s. And then in the 1980s, in the early 1980s, 1983, the IBF was known. And then in the late 1980s, I think 1989, the WBO was formed. The IBF was recognized a little later on in the 80s, somewhere around 87, 86. And the WBO is recognized globally since 2007. And now all four bodies are necessary for someone to be an undisputed or universal world champion. The Ring magazine was formed back in 1922, just 1 year after the NBA was formed. And the Ring magazine rated fighters based on their divisions, but also it rated fighters so that there was always a lineal champion in a division. And the Ring magazine follows the tracking of lineal champions from that point onwards. It is also known of recent times, since the 1990s, for its pound for pound lists. Of course, the pound for pound list was inspired by Sugar Ray Robinson and Benny Leonard back in the 1950s. And pound for pound lists basically rank fighters based on their impact in boxing in terms of their fights and how they have won their fights, how they have dominated their fights. And basically it is this in a nutshell. If a fighter was to fight another fighter at the same weight or in the same division, a pound for pound fighter who's number one would beat all fighters. So, for example, Floyd Mayweather, he's a welterweight champion, junior middleweight champion. If he could hypothetically fight Roman Gonzalez at flyweight, he would beat him. If Roman Gonzalez could hypothetically fight Floyd Mayweather at welterweight, Floyd would beat him. If Roman Gonzalez could fight Floyd Mayweather at junior middleweight, Floyd would still beat him. That's what pound for pound number one means. And Floyd Mayweather Jr. would be able to beat any fighter below him on that list because he's that good once they're at the same weight. So that's what pound for pound means. And it was bestowed on Sugar Ray Robinson and Benny Leonard because they were such great fighters of their day. Now, there's something else I want to talk about that has nothing to do with pound for pound, so let me just get to it. The Ring magazine, basically, like I said, it rates fighters also based on their divisions. You have what is called the lineal champion, and then you have numbers 1 to 10 ranked contenders in a particular division. Now, why the Ring magazine does this and why that is important is because we have now 4 sanctioning bodies currently in the present time. And these 4 major sanctioning bodies are responsible for creating what is called a universal champion, world champion. That is to say, the universal world champion, he has to have 4 of those sanctioning body titles in a particular division to become undisputed or universal champion. Back in the day, it was 1, right? It was the NBA title, or it was the universal title before we had belts and titles and that kind of thing like that with sanctioning bodies. So, since the Ring magazine was there since the inception of the first sanctioning body, at least universally recognized sanctioning body, which was the NBA. The Ring magazine is able to rate fighters based on their rankings in a division and not based on their rankings in the sanctioning body. Why that's important is because we have 4 sanctioning bodies, and not all boxers are registered in the same sanctioning bodies. So to bring uniformity to a division and know who's the best in that division, we have the Ring magazine ratings. Now, boxers and people in the boxing respect the Ring and look at the Ring magazine because it's been around so long. It's even called the Bible of Boxing. They respect it so much that they look at the rankings in divisions, and not only the rankings in divisions, but they also look at the pound for pound rankings. So when you hear Shane Mosley said he was once a #1 pound for pound ranked fighter in the world, he's talking about the pound for pound rankings in the Ring magazine. When Floyd Mayweather talks about him being #1 pound for pound fighter in the world, he was talking about the pound for pound rankings in Ring magazine. And the Ring magazine bestows this title on fighters who have been great in their respective eras. But not only that, they also bestow belts. So they have the Ring magazine lineal championship belt, you know. So they actually have belts, and they've been around that long that basically, if you want to know who's the lineal champion or the true champion of a division, all you have to do is look to the Ring magazine at who they designate the lineal champion. Okay? So the lineal champion is generally called the guy who has beaten the champion, the true champion. Okay? So that's why the Ring magazine has lineal champions. Okay, let's move on. So, if you look at these pound for pound rankings here, you will see, of course, Mayweather's at the top. But next in line is Roman Gonzalez, and he's at flyweight. Then you see Vladimir Klitschko at heavyweight. Then you see Gennady Golovkin at middleweight, Guillermo Rigondeaux at junior featherweight or super bantamweight. You see Manny Pacquiao at welterweight, Sergey Kovalev at light heavyweight, Terence Crawford at junior welterweight, Shinsuke Yamanaka at bantamweight, and Takashi Uchiyama at junior lightweight or super featherweight. So you notice that there are different fighters in different divisions. Only Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather are in the same overlapping divisions. But here's the more important thing. We have here 3 all-time greats. And what's an all-time great? An all-time great is a great fighter of a particular era. And we have 3 of them. We have Floyd Mayweather here. We have Vladimir Klitschko. And we have Manny Pacquiao. The other fighters are still building up their legacies. We know that Klitschko, Pacquiao, and Mayweather are pretty much at the end of their careers now. And it's just nice to see how these fighters stack up to other fighters. And I'm pretty sure Pacquiao, Klitschko, and Mayweather are future Hall of Famers as well. Now, why I'm saying this? It's because any pound for pound rankings would demonstrate, it would reflect the successes, the achievements of fighters throughout their careers in a given period of time. Of course, you move up the pound for pound rankings based on your performances all along and how dominant you've been. And as you can see here, this is truly reflective of what's happening in the world today at this point in time. Okay? You must note that, because Shane Mosley, at a certain point in time, in 2003, I think it was 2002, he was pound for pound champion. You know, Oscar De La Hoya was pound for pound champion at a certain period of time. You know, so it depends on what period of time you're talking about. You know, so having said all of that, I hope that this will truly. Oh, Manny Pacquiao was also #1 pound for pound champion at a certain point in time. Okay. And all I'm saying is that I hope that this truly helps to explain some of the misunderstandings that fans have with boxing. Because I realize fans don't really understand the structure of boxing. They don't understand how boxing's made up and the pieces of it. And I'm hoping that by doing these videos, you're getting to understand boxing a little bit more. Okay? Because I hear a lot of fans ignorantly say, oh, the rankings don't truly reflect. But I say, look, you have to know what rankings you're talking about. If you're talking about sanctioning body rankings, those won't truly reflect the division. But if you're talking about, for instance, the Ring Magazine's rankings, which the Ring Magazine is a highly respected, it's been around forever in boxing, highly respected magazine to which boxers refer to when they talk about pound for pound rankings or lineal belts, because it's the ring that bestows these honors on these fighters. So when you want to look for pound for pound rankings, if you really want to go to a body that boxers and people in boxing respect for pound for pound rankings, you go to the Ring. If you're going to find out about lineal champions, you go to the Ring Magazine, because they're responsible for bestowing lineal championships on fighters and lineal belts. Okay, so I hope that this clears up all these misunderstandings, because people talk about you can have your own pound for pound list. Yes, you can, but boxers don't respect your pound for pound list. They respect the Ring's pound for pound list. I hope this makes sense to all of you casual fans out there. Guys, have a great one.